Now moving further, what kind of investigations we are going to perform in case of the gout. We have two types of gouts, as we have discussed, acute gout and chronic gout. When we look for the investigations, we the main focus of ours is to focus on the urate crystals in the spirate of the joint, bursa or tophus formation in case of chronic gout. So while looking forward towards investigation, we first have a look towards the synovial fluid examination. We will have a look to the synovial fluid examination. When we do a synovial fluid examination, what we have in result, we come to know that the fluid in case of acute gout is turbid. Why this fluid is turbid? The fluid is turbid due to the elevated levels of neutrophils, as acute inflammatory process is carried out in case of acute gout. So when there is acute inflammatory process, there is increase in concentration of neutrophils at that time. While in case of chronic gout, when we have a synovial fluid examination, we come to know that the color of the synovial fluid is white, because there is only urate crystal deposition. With the passage of time, inflammation subsides. And then we have further step after observing the synovial fluid. What we have to look in on the biochemistry of the synovial fluid. We have to look at the biochemistry of the patient. We have to do the CBC. When we do the CBC, we have a look that in case of acute gout, there is elevated level of erythrocyte sedimentation rate, that is ESR, and C-reactive protein CRP, along with neutrophilia, that is excess neutrophils in the blood at that time in case of acute gout. But when we look for the chronic gout, we have only elevated levels of ESR and CRP. No main indication of neutrophilia is found out there. Then we move further on towards our main diagnostic, which will diagnostic point, which give us more advanced results, will be of X-ray. What happens in X-ray? In case of acute gout, the X-ray of the bone is quite normal, whereas in case of chronic gout, there is well demarcated erosions. How these erosions look like, we will see it through a picture, through an X-ray finding. The picture which is representing the erosive arthritis in chronic gout. Erosions, when we look at these arrows, which as here mentioned, these arrows are looking forwarding towards the erosion of the bone. While looking towards the third phalanx, there is no bone erosion in the third phalanx. But while we look at the metatarsophalangeal joint of a big toe, we have marked erosions at this area. While looking at the synovial fluid examination report, CBC report, and the X-ray report, we will have a clear diagnosis of gout. So here we have done with the clinical features and investigation of gout. Now we look for the management of gout. What are our main protocols for the management of gout? We have to deal with the acute attacks of gout. We have to start prophylaxis in order to lower the serum uric acid level. We have to prevent the further acute attacks or recurrent attacks of gout. In order to manage the patient of a gout, we will move in a stepwise fashion. We will first look for the non-pharmacological approach, then we will move towards the pharmacological approach. When we look for the non-pharmacological approach, we have local ice packs. Why we use it? We use it in case to reduce any kind of more inflammation or to reduce wear pain. Then moving towards the pharmacological intervention, what we have the first drug of line, first drug of choice. We have oral colchicine. What does it do? It just inhibits the microtubule assembly in the neutrophils. It inhibits the microtubule assembly of the neutrophils, so inflammatory process with the passage of time starts to subside. And what we have the side effect of this drug, there is severe diarrhea, nausea, or vomiting of this disease, of this by the use of this drug. We can also use oral NSAIDs, that is non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, in case of acute gout. But when we have a patient with acute gout, there may be a chance that he may be having any coexisting cardiovascular, cerebrovascular, or chronic kidney disease. So we have to use it with the precautions, with more caution as compared to the oral colchicine. So when we are looking for the elderly patient, we have to use our drugs with more caution. We can use oral prednisolone or intramuscular methylprednisolone in case of elderly patient, because we have a chance of drug intoxication in elderly people. Which kind of drugs cause intoxication in elderly people? Mostly NSAIDs are inhibited in case of elderly people. So in order to prevent toxicity with colchicine and NSAIDs, we use oral prednisolone or intramuscular methylprednisolone in case of elderly patients. So if the inflammation is not subsiding with our pharmacological approach, what we have to do, we have to look for another pharmacological approach, that is intraarticular glucocorticoid injection. While using this injection, we may have evidence that inflammation is reducing with the passage of time. So if all our procedures fail and we are unable to reduce the inflammation, what we have to do, we have to aspirate the extra fluid in the joint which is responsible for causing inflammation, urate crystals from the joint which are leading towards its progression to the severe disease. Now we are moving towards the prophylaxis of gout. There are chances of recurrence of gout in a patient who has suffered from any kind of attack of acute gout. If there is only a single attack, then we have no need to prescribe any kind of urate lowering drugs in case of prophylaxis. If we have more than one acute attack in previous 12 months, or there is the formation of tophus or erosion of the bone, then we have to prescribe prophylaxis treatment in order to avoid recurrent attacks of gout. Then what are the drugs we are using? The first line of drug, the drug of choice in this case for the prophylaxis here, is allopurinol. Why we are using it? It basically inhibits an enzyme which is xanthine oxidase, which is responsible for the conversion of hypoxanthine to xanthine and then into uric acid. So when this drug is given, the uric acid production is lowered. So this is a picture which is representing the function of xanthine oxidase, that this is here. Xanthine oxidase is involved in the conversion of hypoxanthine to xanthine and then xanthine to uric acid. We basically give allopurinol febuxostate here in order to inhibit the xanthine oxidase. When we inhibit this, uric acid production is decreased. Why we use febuxostate? We use febuxostate in those patients who are resistant or allergic to allopurinol. The function of febuxostate is similar as that of allopurinol. The other drugs we are going to use in case of prophylaxis are uricose-uric drugs. In this way, why we use uricose-uric drugs? They also lower the uric acid level, but they have indication that they are contraindicated in overproducers who have excess uric acid production, or those patients who have any kind of renal impairment or urolithiasis, because these patients require adequate fluid intake in order to avoid uric acid crystallization. The other drug we are going to use here is pegloticase, which is also involved in uric acid production inhibition as it inhibits the enzyme uricase. So why we use pegloticase? As it inhibits the uric acid conversion into allantoin, so we have to conjugate uricase with methylpropylene in order to inhibit this conversion. Which cases we are going to use pegloticase? We use pegloticase in case of tophaceous gout resistance, in which there is tophus formation or chronic gout. We do an intravenous infusion of this in order to regress the tophus formation. Along with antibiotics, we also use antibiotics in this case in order to avoid any kind of... After pharmacological behavior, we ask our patient to do some kind of modification in his lifestyle. If the patient is obese, then we advise him to lose weight. We ask our patient to avoid any kind of alcohol intoxication, especially beer. Or then we also ask our patient to avoid antihypertensive drugs like thiazide diuretics, like angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitors or beta blockers, which further cause accumulation of urate in the body or cause tubular damage of the renal tubular damage. Or we also ask our patient to avoid excessive intake of seafoods, which are the basically main reason behind this uric acid exogenous source. While doing prophylaxis, we come to know that there is a kind of side effect which is referred to as acute flares in the patient. How we treat this acute flares in our patient? We just treat this with NSAIDs or oral colchicine. The patient who are resistant with any kind of drug we have mentioned here in the prophylaxis. So here we have done with management of acute gout and also chronic gout. Hope you liked my video.